Hello, hello. All right. Today is XGen day. Um, so I did end up finishing the curves offline. I did record all of it, but I kind of need to edit it a bit and cut it up because, you know, I just worked on it off and on throughout the span of time. But I will post that probably with the final video. But uh, more or less, just ended up finishing adding these curves to the top, filling in all the major gaps. Nothing crazy. Nothing too different from what I was showing you. I was thinking for the back of the hair, we should round it out a bit maybe, and like maybe pull out some of the inner layer to get some of this little bit of a tail. So I'm going to do that first. So first I'm just going to round this out a little bit. Well, let's go with this. Yeah, let's do this. So you see when I move this, they're like moving in different directions, right? We don't want that. So I'm just going to open up my toolkit here. Switch this to world. And then a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And now I'm going to I'm going to toss these outer hairs aside for a second. So I'm going to select everything. Let's freeze our transformations, right? Oh, I need to play some music in a second. I'm just going to play the first thing I see. Dead air is killing me, so. All right, feels better. And you need to, I'm just going to let you play your own music because I don't want to get any copyright strikes on here, so. You can do that. Okay. So I was going to take some of these outer layers. Just make sure everything's frozen. Okay. I was going to kind of toss these to the side for a second, just to get them out of the way. Some of these too. This guy. I don't need to. All right. And so, like, I don't know if you see this reference here in the corner. I'll try and blow it up for you. So it's small, so it's blurry, but like it looks to me like she has like an inner layer of hair that kind of comes out like a little tail. I kind of like that, so we're gonna do that. I think it just gives it a little bit better interest. Let's see how that looks with those. I think we can push that a little more. I think stuff like this will be like fun when we like set up the hair physics too. I have the little extra bit. Okay. Doesn't have to be anything too crazy. Just want to play a little bit. I think I'm going to select these. Let's get CV curve tools out here. And I think we probably want to just do the same with the rest of these. Let's grab these ones first. So like this can just really help to add nice interest to your work, I think. Keep it a little less bland looking. So when you catch stuff like that, what I pointed out, the little tail in the back of the hair, try and incorporate into your pieces. All right. Pull this forward. Pull that forward. So we're going to get to XGen very soon. I'm just going to make these final adjustments. So I think they'll have some payoff. Hopefully, right? Okay. I think that'll work. Let's throw this back together. There you go. So once we get our groom generated, we can start working on the next part, basically. All right, so I'm gonna close this for now. I'm gonna minimize that for the moment. I'm just gonna clean up my space here. We're gonna save. And yes, I did some tests yesterday, but we're still starting over from the beginning. I have some ideas I want to try. Since I have the extra time, I'm going to try some slightly different approaches than what I'm usually doing. Basically, I'm going to segment the hair into a few different descriptions. And I'll kind of explain it here in a second. But yeah, let's see. We'll go. Let's do this. All right. And I'm going to make one more save file. So I'm going to have this one. And just to be safe, I'm going to do one more. So one important thing before we start is when you're working with XGen, number one, you want to be like as organized as possible. You don't want to be messy because XGen can break, and if things break, you want to be able to try and fix it and clean it up. Another thing too is once you start generating your XGen groom, you cannot rename it anything generally. This groomer tool seems to have a renaming utility for XGen for meshes and stuff. I still personally wouldn't trust it. Try to get your naming set before you start. Another thing I recommend is don't ever put more than one description on the one mesh. XGen will let you do it, but it can break things. What else? If I think of anything else as I keep working, I'll let you know, but I think that's about it for now. And if I haven't mentioned it, never use the undo button with XGen. Thanks, Mechanism. I really appreciate it. All right. So I'm just going to group all these just to keep it clean. And now we're going to switch our UI up here in our workspace to XGen. There's XGen Interactive. I will show you XGen Interactive soon. Actually, we'll have to switch to it as part of the process for converting to UE5. Like I can show you some like how to make a quick ponytail hairstyle or something with XGen Interactive. Maybe it'll take you maybe a couple hours, few hours, as opposed to how long this one has taken. But this is a workflow I generally prefer. So we're gonna start with this, at least when it comes to working with XGen. So the next step would be basically we have to create a scalp. When I was doing my initial test ahead of time, I noticed one thing about these metahumans. I don't know if this is like just an issue when you import them into Unreal, but I can show you something that's kind of nasty. Nasty in the sense of 3D workflows. So, for whatever reason, look at that. So I have no idea why that happens when you import an XGen head into Maya. I don't know if it's just like that in Unreal. That seems very odd to me. That's not something that should happen. And if we left it like that, you'd have a lot of problems with XGen. So we need to fix that. But first, we're going to cut out our scalp from the head to grow the hair. So one thing about making scalps, generally in a studio, the practice is to make a large scalp that covers a wide area beyond the typical hairline. And then you would use a mask to mask out where you want the hairline to be. You'd paint it on the scalp with a texture, basically. I'm not going to do that, and the reason being is that this can cause issues when we transfer our groom into Unreal. Basically, when you have to go through a process where you export your groom into curves and then re-import those curves, what I find is that process does not respect your mask ever. It's just really unreliable. So I find it's better to just cut out your scalp directly from the mesh. If you need to, subdivide your mesh to add more vertices to it to get enough detail to cut it out nicely. But I think this is dense enough for what we need to do. So we're going to start by cutting this out. So I'm going to select this paintbrush tool, basically, this paintbrush select. And I think I'm going to turn on symmetry. No, I won't turn on symmetry. We'll just go through it. Well, we can start with it, I guess. So I'm going to be on faces. All right. So we already have like the hairline kind of dotted in, so I'm going to try and follow that as closely as I can to start with. All right. So just painting these faces basically. Hold control and paint to deselect. And we're just carefully painting the hairline based on what we drew out and had planned. It doesn't have to be extremely perfect, especially for this hairstyle because the hairline is more or less covered. Okay. So we're coming around the ear. Just take your time. Okay, cool. And look at the roots of your curves and make sure they're falling within the hairline too. Double check all that. Okay. Cool. So this is why I don't always use symmetry, because with an asymmetrical head, it's not really gonna always work perfectly. Anyways, I can save you a little bit of time, but I mean, honestly, it's not super necessary. Okay, I think we have the hairline mostly drawn in, so at this point, I like to set it to gray just to make it a little easier to see. Turn off our texture. We're just gonna fill in the rest inside. We can also hit Control 1, and you can kind of take a look at what you have so far. So we'll clean up the edge here a little bit when we in the end, but keep going. I just want to fill this in right now so we can extract it from the scalp. Make our brush a little bigger. Hold B, left mouse control click, drag. Get nice, big. Swaths. I'm going to turn off symmetry at this point. Just start filling everything in normally. I think I'm going to go ahead and hide these. Go back into face mode. Take our paintbrush. Oh no, we lost something. Okay, it's undo. See if we can try this again. Okay. That's too bad. Okay, that's weird. We'll just deal with it. It's Maya for you, I guess. Let's keep going. This is part of like the job. Like you just these softwares, the software that we use sometimes just doesn't work the way you want it. And you have to take the time to figure out basically best practices, more or less. Like if I had the curves on a layer, like I should have, I could probably have just clicked visibility and it would have worked. So next time we should do that ahead of time. Okay. Okay. So now we need to clean up this front area a little bit. I'll turn on this again for a second. Fill in these. Let's see, what are we looking at here? I think we can get rid of some of these. Let's go back to this view. Okay. Some gaps here we need to fix. I mean, that's looking fairly clean to me now. I think that'll work pretty well. So I knew you were still gonna have to fix the vertices here in the center, but this is good. So just come over to your edit mesh up here, and there's a button called extract under the face submenu. So extract. And I'm just gonna go back into object mode. I'm gonna pick everything and just delete history. I want to come here to it's turned into a group now. I'm just gonna unparent both of those. Get rid of that. This is gonna be our growth cap, right? This is gonna be our head ref. Okay. I want to put. You can get rid of these layers. So I want to put my growth cap in a layer too. Okay. Oh, growth cap layer. We'll just call it that. Head ref layer. Again, we want to get our naming down first. And you can do any kind of naming that you want, but this is what I'm doing. This is our curves group. Let's actually call it curve guides. I think we'll go with that. You know what? I think we're going to stop using GS curve tools at this point. So I'm actually going to clean this up more because it's the curves, but then we have all these warp card groups. So I think I'm going to come here, so I'm not going to pick it from the outliner actually. What I'm going to do is at the top of the Maya menu here, you have all these buttons here. If you disable these, like if I disable the polygon, I won't be able to select any polygons. So I'm basically deselecting everything except the curves, select curve objects. So I'm going to select all our curves here like this. Let's save before we do this. And I'll make another save. Be always super precautious when you're working with this stuff. So, and you know what? I think we're going to, I just noticed this. We're going to need another set of cards probably to get some extra flare outs on top. I'm going to bring out my my reference. So I don't want to get too distracted, but like if you look at the top here, there's like all these little hairs. So I'm going to add more curves in the end to do those. Like this nice little chunk here. But for now, we're going to focus on the main body. And I incorporate some of these like this into that outer top layer too, I think. But yeah, let's not get too distracted. So yeah, we were picking our curves. I'm going to hit Shift and P. That's going to unparent everything. I'm going to hold Shift and Alt and press D to delete history in case. I'm going to come here, modify, freeze transformations and everything. I'm going to go to my curves menu over here. And we're going to go to this rebuild, hit the little square to bring up the actual menu. I don't want to rebuild these to like 50. It's a really high number, but the reason is when you convert these into guides, it's based on the hull, not the actual curve you're seeing. So to get better representation of that, just choose linear if you want. You don't have to, but you can go that. Hit rebuild. Oh, something's broke. What? Okay. Let's not do linear then. I think that's probably the reason why that happened. Maya, please. Or is there a rebuild? There we go. Okay, let's stick back to cubic then. Okay, we should be good now. F8, we can maybe see that. Yep. So now all the curves are like super dense. We can probably do a little less, but you could, if you're having like performance problems, you can probably go with like 25. But we're just gonna leave it at 50. Oh, it's still broken this front here. What's happening there? Okay. So we need to figure this out first, why that's breaking. Because that can cause some issues potentially. So these are the ones that are kind of messing up, right? Let's see what happens if we rebuild these directly. No, it worked there. Okay. So looks like it's working this time. It's going to be extra cautious, double check everything. Okay. Saving. And I'm going to make another save. Also, do yourself a favor. Go to your Windows, settings, preferences, files, projects, enable autosave, and hit an interval, at least 15 minutes, maybe even go down to 5 minutes. The only thing about this is if you're like just concentrating hard and you're working on your group and autosave kicks in, it just pauses everything for a few seconds sometimes. It can be a little annoying, but you'll be happy that you did it if anything breaks or Maya crashes. I'm expecting it to crash potentially with XGen because it just happens. All right. So we got all our curves here, right? I kind of want to see if I can rename these, but so they're all here. You deleted history and everything, right? Come up to all these groups and just delete these. I'm gonna come over here. There should be like a renaming tool or something up here. Here we go, rename. Curve. Guides. Okay. So I just cleaned up all the naming too. So now we're gonna group these. And so to get to this renaming tool, you have to click on some of these weird little boxes here. It's a weird UI thing Maya does. And then you click this other little box. And it starts with this absolute transform. But just select rename. And then type in a generic name, whatever you want. And then with all your curves highlighted are selected, just pick a name and hit enter. And it should rename everything for you. And then we're going to call this curve guides group. I'm going to save. I won't make a new save yet. I'm going to select my growth cap. Well, actually, let's turn off the head for a second. Okay, head is not part of this layer. Select the head. Add it to our layer here. All right. I'm going to select my growth. So I can't select it right now because of this I turned on. So I'm going to turn on polygons again. Now I can select it. I'm going to hold right click, assign favorite material, and assign it a Lambert. We can name this material growth cap. I'll do M at the beginning for material. Okay. Now, right, we need to do our UVs for this too. So, because of the this issue here, so if we select this, you can see it's still broken. So we're probably gonna need to fix that first, because, well, check your UV sets too. You can see it has 2 UV sets. I'm just gonna delete this one, and we're just gonna go here and go to create. You can do kind of any of these, but I just do camera based, and then I just go camera based, and then I just click unfold. It's gonna give you this error, right? That's because of what I just showed you. So cancel it for now. So let's go here. I'm gonna highlight the growth cap again. Control 1 to isolate it in the viewport. Now I'm gonna go to our front orthographic view. Actually, we need to do it again. So I'm gonna hit Control 1 again to bring that back, and do it here instead. Control 1. So that's gonna give us a dead-on view of the front. That's what we want. And basically, we're gonna go into our vertices mode. We're gonna select all our vertices. Make sure we don't get any of these edge ones because we don't need to. Okay, they're selected, right? Now we come up to edit mesh, I believe. Under edit mesh, go to merge, this little box. I have 0.01 typed in, and I'm just gonna hit apply. Okay. So I'm basically gonna hit Control 1, and I'm just gonna look over this to make sure it didn't break anything. Okay, let's test this again. Perfect. That's what we want, right? All right. Next step. Let's go back to our UV editor. Again, camera based, unfold. Perfect. See, now it works with no problems. So we know we shouldn't have any more UV issues or vertice issues. When I kind of setting this up, I think the easiest way to do it, in my opinion, to kind of maximize your space is to turn on this checkerboard pattern, because Maya will apply this checkerboard pattern anywhere there are UVs in. So if I move it here, does all that. So this could be helpful for centering. So first we'll do a uniform scale, right? And then I'm just gonna keep squeezing this in until there we go. So if we want to get like super close, we can double check our work here. We can optimize, hit the optimize button if you want to. You don't really need to for this. You just want like just pretty clean UVs. And you want to maximize the space too, because you're going to bake the hair cap UVs into your hair strands as well. And that's going to be useful if you want to color your hair. And you could basically, excuse me, you can basically like paint a texture map, and it'll color your hair strands according to their root origin on that texture map, which is pretty cool. It's like a really nice, easy way if you want to get like sprinkle like white hairs or something, or you know, you can have like highlights and stuff like that. So yeah, turn this off. Let's take one more look at it. Looks pretty clean. Like we are hugging the edge there. All right. I'm also like, I noticed there's like the seam here. You see like these seams. I don't know if they're coming through on this stream, but I'm gonna just go here. I don't think it's gonna matter, but I'm just gonna go ahead and soften everything again. All right. All right. So I'm gonna hit Control-1 to get this back. I'm gonna break out our channel box really quick. I'm just gonna float this here. The header ref, let's turn it back on. So you can see we have everything should be prepped now. But before we generate a groom, I'm gonna cut this haircut up farther basically, because what I want to try is I want to break up, because when I look at the reference, the fringe has a very smooth appearance to me. Like aside from some of the noise you get from the strays and flyaways, it's like really nicely combed in the front here. And then you have like these really messy clumps on layered on top, right? So I want to separate those. I think to get these messy clumps, I'm probably going to basically duplicate and extract another mesh from this top area. I might just split it off too. I haven't decided yet, but we'll decide here in a second. So we want to split the fringe or bangs, the body. It's gonna be its own layer. Like there's the main body parts, and then I'm gonna have a separate layer for the hairs that originate from the crown, for these like clumps, messy clumps, loose messy clumps that come over. I think that'll give us probably the best results. So we're gonna have 3 descriptions. That's the plan right now. I've thought about doing a 4th specifically just for flyaways too. To be honest, I don't know that's gonna be necessary though, but we can add that at the end if we need to. So at this point, gonna take a quick stretch break. I'll be back in a few minutes and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So I was thinking while I was away for the half second or a couple minutes that I want to like better try and illustrate for you guys what the game plan is. That. All right. Let's get rid of that. Let's just make this big. So this area, this like fringe area, everything from here to I want to say like probably around there, like this whole area, minus this like chunk in the middle. Don't disregard that. This is gonna be one description, and we're gonna make these section like kind of smooth, and just try to keep that clean. I'm not gonna worry about the flyaways on top of it at first, and then we're gonna have basically another section for everything underneath, for all this stuff up to here. I hope this is making sense. And then we're going to have a third description for the stuff that comes out of the top. So like this stuff, like that. Maybe we should use different colors. So it's going to be like this stuff. And then we're going to have like everything here like this. All this stuff. And like this little hair chunk here is going to be part of this top group. And then the bangs will be their own group. So hopefully that's super bad, but hopefully that helps explain it a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this hair cap 3 more times, basically. And so we're going to have one growth cap fringe. We're going to have growth cap body. And have growth cap breakup. Yeah, I'm good with that. I think I'm going to start with the fringe and do the body and do the breakup. Ooh. Excuse me. I'm just going to call this growth cap original. And we're just going to hide that. And we're just going to hold on to it. I'm also thinking of doing the stuff full all over the place growth, another layer that's just like short hairs, because if you think about it in real life, like we always have new hairs growing, right? And I thought for the sake of realism and to get better coverage, it makes sense to just do another description that's just a bunch of short hairs. But we'll start with this. We'll get to that when we do. Short hairs of varying length, basically. So I'm going to hide our head again. I'm also going to hide... Let's start with the fringe. So let's hide those. Let's regroup some of these curves too. So all these shorter hairs. Yeah, these can be... I think I'm gonna make these part of the breakup layer. So I'm gonna hit Shift P to bring those out and then regroup them. And curve, guides, group, fringe. All right. So I'm gonna hide this. And so we just have that, right? So now I'm gonna basically cut up this hair cap for only these pieces that we have. So let's break out our brush, same as before. And just start. Nope, we want to be in faces. I had to deselect everything first. So I'm gonna let the hair caps overlap each other a bit too. That's why we made just 3 duplicates, and we're gonna cut them out like this. I think it'll get better results if we let the sections overlap a little bit. I don't know that for sure. This is like a hunch, because this is something new that I'm trying right now. So probably pull that in a little bit. The mesh disappeared on me for a second there. That was scary. All right. Let's finish filling all of this in. It's going to be our fringe area. All right. I'll do one more there. Okay. Just want to add a little bit more. Actually, that's probably not going to catch, so let's pull that back in. All right. And if we need to, we'll add more curves. Shouldn't be a big deal. And if we need to rework our hair cap shapes, we will. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm yawning so heavy. Anyway. So I'm just going to hold shift and marquee select the whole thing. And that's going to swap the selection. I'm just going to delete. So that's our fringe growth cap, right? So we got that. We got that. Hide those. So that's ready to go. So let's do the same thing with our body now. Actually, let's save the body for last. Let's do the breakup, because that's going to be all these like top outer hairs. So like this stuff, probably this, maybe this guy. Oh, you know what I wanted to do also? I wanted to do a separate one for the sideburns too, maybe. That can be part of the breakup, maybe. We'll try it as part of the breakup at first. If we need to separate it, we will. So I'm just going to grab some of these top hairs like that. Should we grab a few more? Maybe this guy and this guy. I don't think we need that guy. Oh yeah, we do. We need that guy for sure. Maybe this guy. I think I'll also grab the sideburns here. They're not actually sideburns, they're just like these hairs coming from where the sideburns originate, I guess. Okay. Boom. I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. No, we'll keep that one. My bad. So I think that's gonna be. We'll start with that. If we need to adjust, we will. So I'm gonna try curve guides. Group. Breakup. Hide the other guides. And so we're just gonna highlight the areas we need. Right? Deselect everything first. So for this, we're definitely gonna need the top area. Give that a little more area there. I'll get rid of that. And someone just general advice, like use your best judgment, but also always be willing to like go back and rework things if you have to. And that you'll definitely need to do that like when you're starting out with this stuff. Like you'll need to spend a lot of time trying things and redoing. And even with the like I've done like I think like 100 hair assets at least by now. And I still find like sometimes you get stuck on something and you have to spend time trying different solutions until you get it. But I think this will probably work for this. So I'm just going to do that. I'm debating if I want to go all the way. I think I will. And like I said, if we need to add more guides or make adjustments to these hair caps, we will. Not a big deal. I'll add that area too. Okay. I think that's everything covered, right? Oh no, we don't have everything covered. We want to grab this stuff too. And you know the nice thing, like if since we're already doing this, like if we decide we want to split off like these bangs or this section, like we already did the tedious part of selecting these faces. Like all we would have to do is like split this with the regular separate tool and reorganize it a bit if we want to do that. It's not too difficult. The more work and more prep you do before you start XGen, the less of a headache XGen will be in the end. The worst thing you can do is just jump into XGen immediately without setting up any guides or anything. Spend days, hours on the groom, only to have XGen just completely like break everything. And I guarantee XGen's gonna act wonky at certain points, even when we're working on this. Okay, I always feel like we could use a couple more curves here too, but we'll add that if we need them. So again, I'm going back to marquee select. I just press Q on the keyboard, hold Shift, select it all again. That inverts the selection, and hit delete. So those are the growth caps for our breakup. Yeah, I'm thinking we might need to separate these sideburns and this area into their own descriptions, only because I might want to play with the density of those. I think we will have like a fill layer in the end too. I think that's probably worth doing. Okay. So this is good. This is good. Okay. So this is our final part, right? So for this, I'm just going to kind of delete areas that aren't going to be close to roots. Just keep it simple. I think at this point, I'm going to save it. Make a new save file. And now we're going to come select our faces. Paint. Select everything not next to a curve to start with. I'm just going to be kind of messy and then clean it up afterwards. Right? So we saved it, so I'm just going to delete that. And then I'm just going to delete the sideburns areas too. Another thing I'm going to have to check, I'm going to have to make sure there's like no gaps between our growth caps. I'm just going to get rid of this. So if we have to redo any of these, we will. I'll probably just redo this one that I'm working on right now. I should really turn the other ones on. Actually, now that I think about it, that would have probably made a lot of sense. I don't need this, right? Hopefully. All right, let's see. I'm already missing stuff. I need to redo this last one because we have weird gaps now. So I'm gonna delete this. Bring back the original. Make a copy of the original girl's cap body. Unhide that. Okay. So I'm gonna do something to make these stand out a little bit. So I'm gonna go here. Hold right click, assign favorite. The blue. I'm gonna switch to vertices mode. Just pull those out a little bit. I did that by holding control, the middle mouse button, and then you can just drag left and right to move along the normals. So I've just popped it out just a tiny bit just so I can see it. All right. I'll do the same thing with the fringe. Sign favorite, Lambert. That one red. Okay. How do we name this? Growth. Can we copy that? Fringe. Go into vertices. No, not this one. This one. Vertices. Hold control, middle mouse button, drag. Just a tiny bit until it pops out. Okay. So that's going to make it a lot easier for us to see what we need to select. I wonder if we can do this. Let's do this. Put those on another layer. Really? Oh, I didn't click this one. Perfect. So we have an outline of those now. So now we know exactly what to delete. I guess, like I said, I'm going to have a little bit of overlap. So we may need to add like maybe another guide here. I don't know what else. Yeah, there might be a few spots where we need some extra guides. It's totally doable though. So just gonna stay within the border basically of this. Delete that. I think this is like an important part of this type of job is you want to be willing to experiment with like approaches and workflows. Like I'm gonna teach this to you, but ideally, like you're gonna like try your own thing. You're gonna try different stuff. That's what I'd really like to see, honestly. Like I would really, since I'm sharing this process, I'd really like to see people take this and expand on it, try different things, and basically try their own workflows. And like I said, well, we might need some extra guides here and there. Not a big deal. We'll deal with it as those problems occur. It's a little hard to see where the outline is here. I'm trying to think if there's a way to fix that off the top of my head. I guess we're just gonna have to see when we finish this. All right. I think we can kind of do like that. Again, I'm leaving a little bit of the edge for the overlap, and I think I see it kind of cuts off there. So I'm gonna deselect these. I'm just gonna double check and go over everything. Oh, there's a gap there. I think what we can do is just add to the the scalp area. I think we'll just add a little bit more to that. So I'm just gonna duplicate our original again. I'm gonna just call that 1, or because I'm gonna make this one growth cap fringe. So I want to fix this gap. I don't want a gap there. So what do we want to do? So essentially, we'll add this to its own layer for a second. And I'll also add this to that. Let's turn off these guides, because I'm just going to add a little extra to this. And we're going to take that out. Basically do what we just did. But I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to add a little bit here. I'm just going to add this area. So I can even go all the way here. Q, marquee select with shift held. I'm sorry, what? Let's try it again. There we go. Cool. So I'm going to delete this one. And we'll check again. Assign existing fringe. That's our new fringe layer. So now we should have no more gaps, hopefully. Yep, we're looking much better now. I'm going to take these pieces and just vary ever so slightly. Use shift, middle mouse button, drag, click. Oh, we don't have move selected. Okay, now it should work. I'm gonna try using this side piece to line it back up. Yeah, like honestly, you don't really have to do this, but I'm just being like hyper anal. Feels like there's still a gap in little areas for some reason, but we'll live with it. That's not a big deal. It really doesn't have to be like exact perfect. Oh no, is that a gap? You know, it's so small, I'm just gonna fix it like this. Where's our yeah. Do that. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna experiment with this approach. So I think now that we have all that stuff done, I'm gonna take this and call it group body. And then I'm gonna highlight these and group these into curve guide groups. Take these. Growth caps. All right. I need to stand up and rest my eyes for a second. Lots of hard concentration happening. Oh no, I had the mic muted all this time. Oh, it's okay. Mr. Krabs. Hey, sorry to bug you about this. Can you help me out in a small part of a 3D model for my daughter's birthday? It's okay if not, and I completely understand. Can you also type your reply in chat as my audio isn't working? Also, love CP2077 really cool. Hey, love, can I help you send through email? Either way. Oh, no problem, Mr. Krabs. Are you the Mr. Krabs that streams on Twitch? Because I've seen your streams. Hi, Gabo. Yeah, I had my mic muted since my last break. I didn't realize I forgot to unmute it. Finally, I can have Kath live, haha, so happy live your work. Oh, thank you so much. Anyways, yeah, when I do the video, I'm going to have to narrate over the area where my mic was muted. It's not a big deal. But we're working on a fringe right now. Basically, yeah, give me a second. I need to see what's happening here. All right. I mean, you're right. Like the first time you do this, it's like super I don't know if stressful is the right word, but yeah, you're right. Like you're not gonna know the first time you do it. Like it comes from just experience. No, I don't know for sure. Like I have like an idea, right? I have something I'm aiming for, but like it never always turns out. Like you're spending a lot of time refining and working towards something. Like you have something you aim for, and then as you're working on it, you just keep working towards the direction and refine and refine and refine until you get something nice. Like that's generally how it works. Like I don't know exactly how this is going to turn out. Like I hope it turns out nice, you know. But like this workflow I'm doing right now, like I'm experimenting a lot. I've never done it this way before. Uh, but because I have like the luxury of like not being on a schedule for work, I'm taking my time to just experiment a bit to maybe improve my workflow. How do you reduce time after generating them from the curves? Are you asking like how do you make it so it's not as high poly and you make it more performant? Is that what you're asking? You said I can imagine. So it's more about how do you reduce time after generating them along the curves. I'm gonna go over all that stuff in the end. Yeah, I know, Andre. Yeah, it's a good method. Cool. Yeah, like yeah. Yeah, I see. I know what you mean. Yeah. It's the one he teaches on that it's like the Chinese website, I think, right? He has the videos of it. All right. So we're not like we're going to Unreal because I'm gonna set up an Alembic room in Unreal, and then we're gonna come back into Maya. We're not pulling anything from Unreal back from Unreal. We're just gonna go back to Maya, and so basically we're going to take these hair follicles, these individual hair follicles, and we're not going to have so many, so we're going to like reduce it to like 5-10%, and then we're going to convert those to curves. So I guess in the instance you need to see how the cards are looking and then start to reducing them or tweak them. So basically, like I said, we're going to convert these to curves, and then we're going to set up clumps of cards with GS curve tools. Yeah, like it'll make sense when I get to it. It'll be very straightforward. It may be hard to like for me to explain it, but right now we're just organizing our scene and starting this, focusing on this XGen groom for the time being. So, where was I? Oh yeah, I was gonna take a quick break actually. So I'll be right back. Give me like a couple minutes because I need to rest my eyes, and then I'll keep working on this. All right, I made sure to unmute this time. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Krabs. I missed it. I don't know if your audio is working. All right. Anyhow, okay. Okay, so I want to go over what the game plan is for these fringe. So obviously this is looking different from this, right? Like these are like coming into little spiky tips, and that's not what we want. And that's based on this this graph here, this curve graph. So like you'll see if we see how it changes things, right? And now I think so. I have like a document here somewhere. Uh, Give me a second. I need to hide my screen for this because I'm going to go into my documents folder. I don't know if I have anything I want to hide. Okay, we're good. I had another one today. I thought I saved. You can get it here if you go to cut. This random modifier is what I want. I'm just going to delete that for now. We'll come back to that. File save. I'm going to add this random modifier to our clumping. Okay. So you can see adding that random modifier. Basically, you have two values, and the random modifier will pick a random number for each clump. So what I think I want is I want to do a range of, first of all, let's go maybe as high as, let's try 7, maybe 4, 0.4, 0.7. No. Maybe let's try 1.0. So we're getting kind of this random clumping a little bit. And you can see there's hairs being interpolated between these two. That's straight. We need to fix that with a region mask. So I think what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna hide this for now. Let's turn off this. Let's turn on our guides. And I'm going to create separate regions for the hairs that come out over here and the hairs that come out over here, so we don't get that weird split. So basically this section here, we want a separate region. So let's, under primitives, region map, we're just going to click this paintbrush. This is why it was important to double click this, the paint over here that you should be getting. And I select the solid color. So if we look at it, it's already red, so we're going to pick a blue. This should hopefully work. Cool. So now we have red and blue, right? And they can be basically any primary color. I think it can be just any color as long as those colors are different. Can even refine that a little bit. Oops. It's not what I wanted. Okay. I think that'll work. So hit the save here next to that. I should fix most of that. Not everything, I guess. See if we can figure out why that's still happening. Oh, you know why? I know why. Modifiers, clumping, set up maps. Use control maps. Control mask 1 should help. And also, I think we need to do the same thing over here. It's set to 0, so we need to set that to 1 as well. Description region. Description region. That's what we want. Save. Okay. Now it's clean, right? So we fixed that. Perfect. So this is starting to look closer to what I want. That's good. But we need to break it up a little bit more. I'm going to hide the guides again. So we have these larger clumps, right? Now we need, I think, another layer, at least one more layer of clumping. And I want to adjust the guides a bit. So I'm going to come here. And we're going to unhide our curves for the fringe. I'm going to select those. Oh. I'm going to hit F8. I'm going to highlight like, okay, control, vertex. So I'm going to hide this so you can see it better. So I'm going to kind of pick this area here. We're going to go to our curves menu. There should be a smooth. Hit the box next to that. And that's probably too high, but we'll start with that. Let's see what that does. That's not what I wanted. Because they're like, those guides are so dense, it doesn't want to smooth. So we're just going to go like 1,000. Now it's working. That's what I want. So I just want to bring these in a little bit. F8. So we can also use soft select. Kind of get that like that. Our modeling toolkit. So if you go to soft selection here, you can play with this curve, but let's try it like this first. Just bring that in a little bit. Just moving these very subtly and carefully. I don't want to add like any weird kinks or anything. Okay, let's see how that affects things. Okay, that's better, right? Okay, so you see this like really flat edge, right? We are gonna fix that, but not yet. I think I'm gonna add. We can get rid of our modeling toolkit for now. And I think we want to add a second clumping. Because if you look at the hairs, there's like, let's find a good example on this ref sheet. So like hair, you'll see like a larger clump. Let me see. Where's my... So you'll have a clump like that. That's big. And then you'll have like these smaller clumps inside of it. And then you'll have like even smaller clumps inside of that. And then you'll have like the stray hairs that just kind of do their own thing. They're like little thin wispy hairs. Okay. So we're going to add a second clump layer. And again, it's not going to do anything yet because we need to set up our maps. So my thought process for how to set up these clump guides. So hit generate, first of all. Obviously, that's too sparse, so let's raise that to like 20. What I'm going to aim to do is basically split each of these larger clumps into roughly Like if you look at how thick each one is, like it's about around this thick. This one is about this thick. So I think we want to split that into like 3 or 4 clumps at most. So if we look at 1, 2, 3, roughly 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's about 3 clumps across now. So we're gonna try 12, just even generate. Keep control maps turned on. We don't want that one. Region. Save. Okay, you can see it's breaking up even more now, right? That's too strong, so we are going to come back. So I'm liking some of this that I'm getting, but it's a little too strong. So I'm going to take this, copy it, and then we're going to add it to here. But we're going to adjust these numbers. I'm going to do like points. Yeah, we're going to leave this at, we'll do like 3 to 0.8. Okay, that's a little closer to what we want. Maybe we can do 9. Okay, maybe we can raise that to 4. All right, looking good. We're getting somewhere with this. Again, right now we're just focusing on the clump, and I think in the end we are gonna have, I'm gonna add like a fill layer too. Okay. What's next? We can add some noise to these clumps too. I don't do it for the first one because those are based on our initial guides. Let's get rid of our these. We don't need them right now. Hide. And now's a good time to save again. Save often as you can remember. 7. So it's fun to add some noise. I'm just going to type in a number like 5. And then we're going to add some noise by just raising this gradually. I'm going to click here. Okay, it's already set the spline. That's what I want. So as you can see, as I move this graph up, it starts to break that up more and more, right? We only want a little bit. So I'm probably going to raise this, just put this at 1. And then we'll slowly raise this until we get what we want. Maybe 2, just to have a little more range. And then we can even pull this back so the noise starts happening earlier towards the root. So I just want a little bit of noise. So you can type in the value here. So we can put the position. Let's say we want to start at 0.15, 15%. And we'll set the value to roughly like 20%. 0.2. Okay, so we can test that by just turning this clumping layer off and on. You can see the difference. Getting some nicer breakup now, right? All right. So I'm pretty happy with that. Turn on the lighting. Forgot to have that gets turned off sometimes on so. So that's looking pretty good to me. We got some nice clumping variation happening. It's not exactly like that, but we can, if we want to like clean it up a little bit, we can do that. Just lower the mask value. I'm gonna leave it at 1 for now though. Okay, now I'm gonna come to our curl. I'm gonna be very careful of this. I just want to try it out. So I'm gonna set this value to 1. It's not gonna do anything off the bat. We need to adjust our graft. I just want to see if we can get any interest with this. It looks interesting. So just very subtle. Just keep it very little. Just check it from different angles. Okay. Looking pretty good to me. I'm gonna bring that rest of the head back in. All right. Okay. Sweet. Coming together. I might turn up this top light. Let's see how that feels. Yeah, it looks a little more natural. I'm gonna keep the top light off for now. Sweet. All right, I'm gonna take another quick stretch break. Give me a chance to rest my eyes. It's coming along though. I'll actually, yeah, I'll just be right back. Testing? Okay, we're good. Find some different music. Give me a moment, guys. It's like a specific thing I listen to. I just can't remember. Okay. So we need to do another clump breakup, basically. And I'm noticing this sort of odd clump of hairs. Let's see if that's related to any of the guides. They're not, so let's try and see if we can find out where those are coming from. Looks like they're coming from the top here. This area in here in the middle. That could be another issue with like the region stuff. So we might have to refine our region mask a bit. Let's see. Let's turn on our guides. So I'm wondering if we're gonna have to break up the regions here a little bit to fix these little stray hairs. These stray clumps. I mean, you can't really see them from this distance too much, but I still want to try and fix them if I can. Okay. So let me think about that for a bit. For now, we're just gonna continue to break up the clumps. Let's come over to here. Let's start the clumping, number 3. Okay. Same thing, set up maps like before. And I think we did like 12, right, for the other one? So I'm just going to triple that value. I'm going to try that. 36. And hit generate. Because 12 was like... Right. So 36 should basically take all those clumps, and it almost doesn't seem like it's enough. Let's do 50. So I'm going to try 50. Generate. Use control mask. We want to use the same control mask as the main region. mask. So we're going to switch to that. That's one. Yes. Save. So that breaks it up even more. Good. Let's get rid of these for now. And for this like gap up here, I think basically I think that's where I'm gonna have this little accent clump originate from, kind of this area to fill that in, and I think another just a fill layer with varying lengths of noisy hairs will also help get that extra fill. But we'll keep playing with it until we get something good. So what do we want to do? So let's kind of do the same random. I think for this one we'll do I'm gonna do 0.7 to 1. We'll do 5 to 1. 0.5 to 1. Okay, hit enter. We can go over here and it's also maybe to one of these. What happens if we volumize? See what differences we get. I'll keep it like that for now. I think we need some noise. So let's go 2 again, like we did with the other one. Before we do that, I'm going to see adding frequency to this 0.1. Help break it up a little bit more. 0. 1. Too much. 0.1. 0.5. See the difference, 0 and 0.5. We'll do 0.1, I guess. Adds a little bit of nice noise to it. Yeah. It's very subtle, but... Okay, let's start raising this up. I think we'll do it like before, 0.25, 0.15. So we're getting to that smoother shape by carefully breaking up our clumps. Let's go ahead and add our cut modifier now. Same deal. It's just a random. So by default, it's a range of 0 to 0.2. I like to raise that quite a bit more. Usually like 2. Yeah, something like that. So now we get more of these tapered ends, right? More natural feeling. I think I'm going to go back to clump 1, clump 2, 3. Maybe we should try randomizing this noise. No, I never get good results from that, but we can have 0.1. Okay. I think the final just basic noise will get us to where we want to be. I also need to adjust the curve for this too, I think. Just bring this down a little bit. So let's bring our fringe curves back out. Same as before. Just very carefully using soft select to bring this down. Refresh it. Okay. Okay, we can hide those again for now. Okay, what's next? We need to. Oh, hold on. All right. Let's add our noise. So we don't want that, obviously. I just ruined it. So let's take that down a bit. And I'm going to use this expression here. Put that in both. I want to do 0.1. This is going to be 0.1. Right. Let's raise this a little bit more. Okay. This is getting a little closer to what we want. Yeah, it's feeling pretty close, right? Okay. And now come to descriptions, set straight percentage. Set that to 5%. And now I'm going to crank this to like 3. I want to lower that frequency noise. 10. So, okay, not that high. 5. I think I'm going to go with 3. Maybe 4. All right, I'm going to pause here. And I'll... we'll come back in a couple hours. We're going to break. And I'll see you. I'll start another stream. And we'll keep working on this. Ciao.